Greetings from Tokyo. This is Daisuke, and I hope all of you are doing very well today. I'd like to continue with my discussion of the works of Dario Argento. Now I'd like to talk about his TV works, and to do that I'd like to first talk about his work that he did in 1973 for the show called Door into Darkness. Darkness is a television show that was for Italian television, and this is, according to the back here, broadcast first in 1973. So if you remember 1973, this is around the time that he is finishing his Animal trilogy, and just before he is going to make the film Deep Red. So if you can imagine Argento, he is now in his Italian giallo mode, and it shows here. And this particular series, or at least this DVD that I have, has 4 episodes, and they are revealed here or described in more detail in the back. So you have to forgive me here. This is a little bit damaged. The case is a little bit damaged, so please forgive the damage there. But if you could look closely, there are 4 episodes here and here. The first one being, let's see, right here, The Neighbor, and that's Luigi Cozzi's directed episode, which is about an hour. Then you have episode 2, which is called The Tram, which is directed by Dario Argento. Then you have episode 3, which is Eyewitness. Now, Eyewitness is indicated as being directed by Roberto Pariante, but this is, according to information that's found online, apparently this actually was reshot, and during the reshooting it apparently had been directed for the most part by Dario Argento himself. And so many sources online cite Dario Argento as being the director of the episode Eyewitness. However, for the sake of discussions here, I will not be talking about this particular episode, and I'll get to that in a second. But episode 4 is The Doll, which is directed by here Mario Foglietti. Okay, so you have 4 episodes here. And you have the second episode, The Tram, which is credited as being directed by Dario Argento. And then you have the third episode, or this episode called Eyewitness, which, according to information, seems to have been directed in whole or in part, shall we say, by Dario Argento. So let me talk about this series. Well, first of all, the series as a whole is quite interesting. They are all shot with a kind of mystery, horror, thriller, giallo element to them. And they all have some kind of mystery, and usually involving murder or some kind of other sinister act. And they all focus on some kind of aspect of the murder. So these are all very, I think, nice told stories, each hermetically sealed, and all about 1 hour each. So you're getting a little nice, maybe slightly twist endings types of stories here, and nothing too profound or nothing too revolutionary, I should say, in terms of filmmaking, because I would say the filmmaking is quite, it's quite, how shall I put it, not so bravura. It's quite tame in many respects, I would say, but that's not to say anything directly negative about any of the productions. I think overall the series is very good. But since this is a discussion of Dario Argento, and as I said, since I am not able to verify to what extent Dario Argento actually indeed directed the episode called Eyewitness, let me now focus the attention on the episode called The Tram. And with that in mind, if you have not seen The Tram, the episode The Tram, and you don't want to be spoiled, please stop this video. I won't be talking about any spoilers, or I won't be talking about the ending or anything like that, so don't worry about that. I'll try to be as vague as possible, but still, if you are wary of any kind of spoilers, I suggest you stop now and then try to get this, and then come back later. This is a DVD, by the way, and it's not so difficult to get, in my opinion. I had no trouble getting it, and I think I got it through regular retail channels like Amazon or something, so it wasn't like I got it through eBay or anything like that. So I don't think it should be difficult to get. And this is, yes, so I know that there are many other DVD releases of this, and this happens to be Region 0, so I was able to play it on my Japanese DVD player without any issue. Okay, so now you're here, so I will talk very briefly about the story that Dario Argento is credited as directing, which is called The Tram. And The Tram is basically a murder mystery, which is a very, I think it's a very slight mystery. It's not profound, but it's one that is told with a clever deftness. And essentially the plot is a body is found in this public tram. It's like a public train, and the suspects are basically the people who were on that tram at the time, or the night that the body was found, and including the conductor and the ticket collector. And so it's up to the detective to try to figure out what happened, who killed this woman. And part of that involves gathering the suspects and recreating the night of the crime. That is, having each of the suspects sit on the tram and have the tram actually move as the detective is trying to figure out from each of the eyewitnesses what happened. And it also involves a really wonderful climactic set piece involving the detective's girlfriend, a very pretty young woman who basically decides to try to lure the killer by actually sitting on the tram at night. And so therefore that's the final set piece. So she is alone in the dark, and will the killer strike next? And oh boy, that final 10 minutes or so is a real thrill ride. I was really surprised, actually. And so that is the premise, or the basic plot of the television episode here, The Tram. And it's not that long, it's only 1 hour. It is a giallo story, and it is told, I would say, in a way that is designed to heighten suspense. And I think it's done in a way that is very calm and collected. That is, there's no real overtly obvious Dario Argento swooping tracking shot or anything like that. There's actually very little in terms of over-the-top violence. There are intense scenes of suspense and characters in danger, of course, and those are done very well with shadows in the dark. And there are instances of gloves, POV shot of the killer, so to speak, attacking. So there are these moments, but I would say overall it is a tale that is told with a certain swiftness and a certain it pays attention, I think, to the fact that it's a story, I think, told for television rather than a Dario Argento told film or a televisual play, so to speak. Which is, again, not to say that it's bad, because I think at its core it works as a giallo thriller. And it works as a little mini thriller. And as I said, the last 10, 15 minutes or so are a real suspense thrill ride. And it's really quite thrilling. So I urge you to take a look at it if you can. And so it's okay. It's pretty good, I should say. It's not the best Dario Argento directed work I've seen. Because I think it lacks those touches of Dario Argento brilliance that we've come to know and love him for in other films like Opera and Tenebrae and Suspiria and Deep Red. But it does have at its core a soul that is dripping with giallo sensibilities, and as such it is a fun thriller mystery. And as you probably know by now, I am a big fan of fun thriller mysteries of the giallo fare. So in that sense, this is a very respectable and a good exercise in the giallo genre. And I think Argento is showing us that he is really doing very well in terms of this period in his life and his career, and in terms of what he is trying to accomplish. Again, I don't think it's anything revolutionary. I don't think he's doing anything that is overtly experimental in terms of his filmmaking craft. But it's just another exercise, another thing that he is trying to do in a slightly different medium. This time it's for television rather than for the silver screen. And so as in terms of those perspectives, I think this work is more than just a curiosity. I think it is a fine example of something that Argento has already mastered by now, which is this sort of straightforward giallo, and the kind of the thriller mystery that he really fine-tuned in his Animal trilogy years. So, okay, so I won't talk too much about this. So this is Door into Darkness, and the episode is The Tram. This is from 1973. Okay, my friends, let me end it there. Sorry to be brief, but I think these are, this is a television short, and I think there is not so much more I can say about it without giving away too much spoilers. So let me end it there, and I will continue the conversation with more television works by Dario Argento. And until we meet again, my dear friends, please take care of yourselves, and cheers.